some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Welcome back, citizens, to an all-new episode of the Batcave podcast. It's your old bat chum, John S. Drew here, and wow, we've been doing all these little rotating segments, episodes here of Batcave, looking at various aspects of Batman post-1966, but there's one here that got a little slowed down, a little backlogged, a little delayed here, and a lot of that was my own faults in not connecting sooner with this gentleman who's been very patient with me here. Let me welcome him back to the show, and then we'll tell you what we're going to be talking about here. Please welcome back to our show, filmmaker extraordinaire, Mr. Robert Long. Hey, Robert.
Hey, John. Hello, citizens. How's everybody?
Doing well. Now, our little segment that we like to call Some Days You Just Can't Get Rid of a Bomb, where Robert and I have been looking at various fan or not so fan, even some professional. I mean, people got paid for doing it, productions, but all with winks and nods to Batman 1966. And we've got a new one here today that we're going to look at. One I actually was funny because you and I, the last time we'd spoken about this, said we were going to do all these little shorts and stuff because we thought we were actually coming to the end of the list. And I went, wait a minute, we missed this little gem called The Amazing Adventures of Little Batman.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
A little less than half an hour production about a kid who basically dreams that he is Batman and goes through this whole adventure with his Robin and I completely forgotten because it's been years since I've watched this, a Batgirl.
Very true.
Yeah.
And a few famous foes.
And a few famous foes. Yep. Well, the foes I expected. I just, did not expect Batgirl. Not that she has a whole lot to do here. She kind of like Yvonne in the third season. She flits in 1 minute, says a few lines, then disappears, and then comes back later on and says another few lines. And then it's like, okay, we're done. Thanks for everything, Yvonne. Here's your paycheck where you got paid more than Burt Ward. I'm sorry, I love Yvonne, and no disrespect to her, but it was like, as we discussed, and you and I have talked about it when it came to the third season, in the end, Yvonne and Batgirl just seemed to be in and out, and she didn't become part of the whole scheme of things when it came to the show. She was working on her own little track, usually with Alfred or something instead. Right. And then it was just, and then we get the gang together at the end. But it was primarily Batman and Robin still. But, Burt Ward still got paid less. I'm sorry. That annoys me.
It does. He got a bad deal, but he was raw.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's been in the business for at least 10 years.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So we've got all these elements. We've got Batman. We got Robin. We got Batgirl. We've got all four villains in this piece here, all played by children. And Robert, as you and I were talking about just beforehand, you say roughly around maybe 4 or 5 years old?
I read somewhere that they were roughly around 5.
Roughly around 5. Okay. So, folks, as anything like that, when you're dealing with 5-year-olds, first of all, got to give writer, director, producer Joe Valenti credit for that, because you're trying to get these kids in costumes to do what was, as I said, just under half an hour production there. And production-wise, he manages to pull it together.
Well, now I have to make one correction to you there, John, is that it is a full 30 minutes with commercials.
Okay, see, I didn't see are you saying with commercial? Okay. Because here's the thing. There are versions on YouTube where it's cut up into parts. I saw the full-length version. So I don't know if there was a difference, if maybe with the parts they did like a little cliffhanger commentary, had Desmond Doomsday pop in again and make some sort of statements at the end of each part. Which version did you watch?
Now, I'm pulling your leg, John.
Oh, okay.
Because none of the episodes were a full 30 minutes. They had to leave room for commercials.
True. Yeah. But to me, it's like, because I know what it's like trying to put together any sort of production with a group of high school kids. And that's like herding cats. So imagine what it's like trying to do it with 5-year-olds.
Yeah. When does the gloss wear off for the children?
Yeah, probably roughly about 15, 20 minutes into the production when they're like, when do we eat? What's going on here?
I want to play.
Yeah, exactly. Get off your phones.
Oh my goodness.
But yes, The Amazing Adventures of Little Batman, released according to IMDb December 1st, 2007. And I got to say, I was impressed with this, or at least surprised by this. Produced in Ardsley, New York, which is roughly about 30 minutes south of where I live.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't get a ride in the Batmobile, John.
I know. I don't even recall like seeing anything in the way of on the News 12. We had News 12 back then. So, I mean, how that wasn't covered as a news event that they were shooting this film, because they were out and about in the area of Ardsley from the look of it. In fact, I even recognized some of the storefronts that we saw when the Batmobile pulls up to the jewelry store, for instance. There. And speaking of that Batmobile, how awesome was that little Batmobile that they tricked out?
I would have taken a mob hit for that Batmobile.
It got me thinking, because if you were fortunate enough as a kid to get any sort of vehicle, and back then our vehicles, if you had like these days now they're all plastic. Yeah, they got motors and stuff, but they're all plastic. We had all metal. You had to be careful not to sometimes even scrape yourself against the sides of these cars and stuff. But they were all done with either pedals or you pushed it with your own feet. But This thing moved.
Yeah, it had a legitimate. I mean, it had everything. It had brakes. It had accelerator. It had an engine. But
that's like for us as kids of the 70s, that would have been like a dream come true to actually have our, if you had. I didn't. I lived in an apartment, so there was no way we were having anything like that. But like if you did have something like that, to actually have it just move like that, to me, that's part of the charm of this whole thing. It's sort of harkens back to any daydreaming we may have had as kids, where we had kid-sized versions of whatever show we were fans of. In this case here being Batman. As a kid, I always imagined, fighting Bigfoot, but I wasn't imagining Andre the Giant. I was imagining the neighborhood bully who just probably looked a little more hairy than the other kids. It's a lot of wish fulfillment, this movie, in many respects. I feel as I watched it, which added to the charm for me.
There's a lot of jealousy on my part.
Yeah. I gotta say though, when this movie opens right off the bat, there's the credits rolling, and they do go on for a while. I thought maybe they could have been a little shortened, but okay, we're trying to establish this kid really likes Batman because he's got a collectibles collection there all over, and it ranges across the years. It's not just Adam West and such in the 66 show.
I think there may have been some animated series stuff in there. I can't remember.
There was some animated. I could even swear I saw not actual authentic stuff in the sense of, from that time period, but whether they were replicas or what, even some Golden Age, stuff in there.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, well, those statuettes or whatever you're talking about there, those do exist.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was nice. And then I also had to wonder, because we talked about this too, about how much the kids were aware of what they were doing, how much they knew about Batman. Is our kid playing Batman really that big a fan? Clearly there were some things there that were more kid oriented, like the Batman lamp and his Batman blanket and all that. But I had to wonder, if Dad was also putting all his stuff all over the place there.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it was Dad's collection that came out. But no, I give props to the main character, Preston, I think is his first name,
okay,
who played Little Batman, because he was very good in the role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, he was. He was one of the better actors. I mean, let's put the cards on the table. These were kids. They're 5 years old. They're Preston's friends, probably from the area and stuff, and all agreed. Their parents agreed. I mean, you think about it. You got that, especially in this day and age. This isn't just, hey, I got an 8mm camera. Let's go shoot some film, type thing. And everybody just went, all right, just make sure he's back by, before the lights go on the streets. This is 2007, and at this point, we're all stranger danger and stuff. So, This guy's got to do some wrangling to get, especially when it's like, oh, and by the way, your kid, I'm putting him in white makeup to play the Joker. So don't worry, it's hypoallergenic.
Oh my gosh. Oh geez. And let's be honest, this took more than one day, afternoon to shoot. This took a while. It had to have taken a while, knowing kids and such. And because of it, there are kids who get into it. I mean, Preston does seem to be understanding. He's not only playing Batman, but he's playing Adam West's Batman. He's trying with the inflections, and he's clearly, I'd even say he's probably has watched the show and stuff. But then there are others, like God love him, the Penguin, who when he does he's going wah wah wah. Well, the actor walked off the Lost in Space set, and I mean, I'm sorry, the kid looks like Billy Mooney. He does look a lot like Billy Mooney. You're right.
And but overall, with the production values and everything, if you kind of after a while just ignore it and see it all as, especially like, oh my goodness, there's at one point there where, well, actually there's several points there where they've got the kids telling jokes, and then it's sort of like they just pause the camera on them to let the kids relish the moment that they got the joke out there before they move on. It's home movies in that respect.
It's the most professional home movies you'll ever see.
Right. Exactly. But all charming. Like when Joker gets Penguin with his buzzer, they just literally stop and all look at the camera and they're grinning like, we did it before running off.
Shit.
I loved it though. It was so cute.
Like, did we get it right this time? We did. Yay.
Yay. So they give them their moment to savor it. I thought that was adorable.
Yeah.
But when the credits come to an end and the music fades, we see young Preston there asleep in his bed. His mom comes in, and I guess he fell asleep to the news because he's got his TV on and he's watching, or he was watching, about the 4 criminals who have escaped from the nearby prison. And there is a prison nearby Ardsley. So,
well, truth and fiction. It's like the local news was on, and it's like, wow, this kid was really into his local news at night before going to bed.
Right.
And now it seemed a little bit serious. I mean, the way that it starts out, it's like, okay, this is present day, and this is what we're dealing with, and it's kind of like to me, it seemed like the kid kind of went off into a more exaggerated reality where things were a little bit goofier and safe.
Yeah. No, that's exactly the way I saw it. It's interesting because we never resolve, did they catch the criminals? But in reality, because we go right to the dreamscape as he's, now dreaming with again, I love it, stock footage of a more modern New York, though.
Just another ordinary day in Gotham City. Or is it? Meanwhile, at stately Wayne Manor, millionaire Bruce Wayne is about to wake up to some disturbing news.
Master Bruce, your usual breakfast in bed, sir.
Who's Bruce?
Sir, we have no time for games. Have you read the morning paper?
That was something else I got to say. I did actually I liked that the opening credits did not use the Batman theme. I know that sounds weird, but we get enough of the Batman music throughout the episode itself. We don't need it. And I kind of like the music they chose, whereas a lot of times I don't like the music in these productions.
Yeah, I think most of it was taken from the movie soundtrack. Am I correct in that? Okay.
Yes.
And yeah, no, the opening credits had nothing to do with the Neil Hefti. I forget, but I think I'm going to have to say we don't get any internal credits for his dream sequence.
No, we don't. No, it cuts right to what would be like pre-credits as we're setting up our establishing shots and such, and the episode begins. There's nothing in the way of like, you know, it's a good thing in a way they didn't. It would have been cute. It would have been cute if they'd done a little Batman opening sequence and stuff. But you know what? He's already established everything with 2 minutes of credits anyway with the opening of the movie. So let's move on and tell our story.
You know, it would have been nice to see, hey, the kid even includes credits in his
in his dream. That's true. And you know, when we cut to Wayne Manor, and I'm trying to figure out where they shot that, like where that is located, that Wayne Manor, because that obviously had to be East Coast as well. That was not stock footage. That was because you could see the consistency in the film quality, the video quality. That was somewhere in New York. So I'm curious where that Wayne Manor was.
That could it have been a possible college or something? I mean, that thing was huge.
It was. It could have been a college. It's possible. Yeah. That would be if I ever had a chance to talk to him or to Scott about the experience. That would be one thing I'd ask, is because it was impressive, because I kept thinking, okay, you could have cheated and just taken Wayne Manor and just inserted it, but no, he went and he got his own Wayne Manor, because everything else is, you know, like but not like, if you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, it's got the flavor, and I always appreciate it when they do try to get a lookalike instead of just putting the clip from the show.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And in some ways, you could almost think that maybe it's just from a different angle.
I don't know. That building was on steroids. I mean, what 4 or 5 stories to that thing?
Right. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Now, our Preston, now dressed in a tux here, awakens in his bed. So it must have been a heck of a night, because he didn't even get out of his tux.
Yeah. Surrounded by tons of scantily clad women. No, I'm sorry. That was Adam's reality back then.
Right. Adam's reality, not Preston's here. And at first it took me by surprise, but then to me, it's like, oh, wait a minute. That makes sense. A much younger Alfred comes in to let him know about the escape of our 4 villains.
I'm so analytical, though. I'm there going, okay, well, if little Batman's supposed to be Bruce Wayne in his early 30s, how old does this make this Alfred? Is he 105? I mean, he was a young man, probably 30.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Napier was what? He was in his 60s when he did it, right?
He was 65.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, it's fairly, if you knock off 30 years off him, you know.
Yeah. I just found it, I mean, because we'll see this throughout the whole thing, because they use various aged kids or children. Mm-hmm. And I just start calculating, okay, so is this person supposed to be about 45? Is this person, you know?
Right. And I love this. I don't know what it is, if that was an affectation they gave him, or if it was just the kid genuinely didn't know what he was doing. But like every time he's handed something to look at, Bruce or as Batman, he's got to turn it right side up. It was the newspaper. Robin hands him a punch card in the Batcave later on. He's got to turn it right side. Like, it's like, oh, it's not the right way. And he takes a moment to straighten it all out. So I don't know if that was an affectation with the kid, or he just, you know, it's like, oh, wrong way.
I mean, that may have been a bit that they put in there, you know. It could have been, but no. I give many kudos to Preston, who seems like he genuinely got it.
Yes, absolutely. He definitely did. And then we cut to Gordon and O'Hara sitting in the office, and of course they're all fuming over the fact that the four have escaped, so they've got to go and make the call. And this is the thing, like I said, you've got these 5-year-old kids. They're not giving them a lot of dialogue, so we don't waste a lot of time with the usual, hemming and hawing. Maybe I hate to go bother him again, or if there's ever a time we need him now. It's just, let's get up, walk over there, and there's O'Hara in his, over, hanging off him police uniform. They didn't even bother putting the coat on him. He's just wearing a shirt and pants with the hat on his head.
Yeah, that hat was huge.
Yeah. I know.
John, have you ever noticed that for any of these like fan things, they give Gordon the exact same line at the beginning? It's like, I never know who he is, but we need him, and it seems like every single one of these productions.
It stands out. It was a standout line in the first episode. It's one that, like, many times whenever Batman's on TV, they use it as part of the promotion. I think, if I remember correctly, it was even on the DVD Warner Brothers, the Blu-ray release. That was one of the lines that we saw in the promo, was Gordon doing that line.
It could be. I would just rather have seen like him and O'Hara going at it for like, the strike that's happening, some real good meaty, stuff that's going on in the department, but you can't have everything.
No, he makes the call. And I thought this interesting too. Bruce is the only one who goes into the study. I'm still like sitting there going, where's Dick? Where's Dick? Why don't we get Dick in this thing? Why aren't we getting them both going to the bat poles? But no, he takes the call. Then he goes down the bat poles to the Batcave, where Robin is waiting for him in the car, already dressed.
I've got my own thoughts as to why they kind of sped that up.
What were you thinking? I thought that they tried to do a bat pole scene with the kid.
It's the sort of thing that I could pull off with the kind of software that I have, but it's decent, the whole bat pole thing.
Oh no, it's decent. I don't mean the technical wise. I just mean the kid couldn't do it. I mean, I know we say 5, but Robin has to be a little younger. So, and I'm looking at him, and I could swear a couple of times, and I don't mean to be, rude or anything, but I could have sworn I saw a diaper. So, like, he's that young. They don't give him a lot of dialogue, and when they do, he mush mouths it a lot. He struggles with the dialogue.
That's why I think they kind of cut to the chase,
right?
With getting to the Batmobile, and he's already there.
Yeah,
is I don't think he could handle really the Dick Grayson aspect of it.
Right. Yeah. Because we never see him as Dick. We just see him always in the uniform.
Right. I mean, let's face it. The production value at this point is taking over, so you don't notice it as much.
True. Because, like you said, the bat pole sequence is pretty decent.
Commissioner, I'm sorry. I'm afraid I didn't see the bat signal, but don't worry. I'm on my way.
The Batcave itself, my God, there's another, you want to talk about jealous. I was jealous of the Batcave. that was adorable. And I'm like thinking, as a kid, I would love to play on that set.
Oh, yeah.
Robin, Batmobile ready? Yes. All the new crime-fighting gadgets have been added. Excellent. We may need them sooner or later. Automatic, batteries to power, to bag speed. Ready to move out.
Well, just the cost of the Christmas lights alone.
Yeah.
But no, it was a beautiful send up to the cave, including the exterior. But we're not talking about the main elephant in the room, which is that damn beautiful car that they jump into.
I know. I mean, it is, like we said at the top of the show, it is this beautiful toy version of the Batmobile. It's tricked out with lights on the dashboard there as Robin is throwing switches. And of course, we get the atomic batteries to power line and all.
Yep. And I guess I should say Preston's Batman outfit is cooler than all get out.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, the cowl is just perfect.
Yep. Well, now at the end, there are a bunch of credits of who they give credit to. Was his cowl, as I'm assuming Scott's was, done by Chuck Williams?
I don't have that information. It would not surprise me in the slightest.
Yeah, because Chuck and his wife get credit in the movie for the Batman cowl and costume and stuff. So I'm assuming that they also did the one for Little Batman as well.
I mean, yeah, maybe they have like a smaller size for or more of a kid's like size, and he just customed it up. Yeah. Because that actually fits Preston fairly well.
Yes. And yet also still gives that whole thing like poor Adam when he would wear it, that you kind of like sometimes look like he's lost in it. Like, because he even said it was difficult sometimes to see, you lost all peripheral vision. So,
it just occurred to me what Preston and the rest of the costume kids look like. They look like living Legos.
You're right. Now that you think about it there, yeah. They're small enough, the outfits, yeah. Especially Joker.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and the hair would have been right. It would have been too wild.
Yeah.
So. But, I mean, Preston's cowl looks like just the helmets that they would put onto a Lego.
Yes. Now, this scene here in the Batcave is one of the scenes I point out in terms of like why I think Robin is way younger, because his one big line, this is really where they give him a mouthful, is like, I've got the Batmobile all ready to go with new gadgets we can use, or something like that, to that effect. It literally took me 3 or 4 times rewinding to figure out that he said gadgets at one point. In that line. Yeah.
The poor kid was just, did I get it finally? I mean, yes. You could tell it's just like, this time? Mm-hmm. So I give him a little bit of, he gets a pass.
Oh, yeah. No, he definitely gets a pass. Don't get me wrong. It's just, and again, kudos to them for getting a kid that young to get that mouthful out there. However, God knows how many takes. It would be interesting to see the blooper reel and stuff. Because even when Batman runs up to the Batmobile, he stops. There is this pause, and it's almost like you could, which probably they cut out, is like, go, say your line.
Yeah, you can see it. He's just sitting there on the side of the Batmobile. Yes. It's like, okay.
No, but absolutely he gets a pass. He's adorable. I mean, it's the cutest thing, but at the same time, you're like, what did he say? What did he say?
It's like, right, Scott, Robin's been hit by the mush mouth.
But then they do that, that great cut then to, Preston there as Batman saying, good, because we never know when we'll need it or something like that, which I thought was interesting because it's like, you didn't use them, whatever the gadgets were. We never get told what they are. We never see them being used, but okay, we've got them. Because
we never did get the second half of the show.
No, I was going to say we don't really finish this story. It's because it's not entirely about the story in the sense of the whole thing. It's about the dream and the impression the dream leaves on the kid.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. I guess we take off, and like I said, we get some beautiful exteriors, which were probably filmed outside their garage with the facade put up.
Yeah. I mean, Ardsley is a very, it's a very suburban area in Westchester. And I could easily see, that being one of the back areas and stuff like that. No, it was well done. And they get the sign up for Gotham City 14 miles. And as he's driving off, I'm like, oh man, I wish I was that kid 5 years. I'd act my heart out for you to do that role.
Oh yeah, I would have given an Oscar performance to have been in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we head to downtown Gotham City.
Yep. Pull up to the headquarters. We get them out, and I love this. They get out, they run up the stairs, and Robin, I don't know if he was doing it on purpose or he suddenly realized it, because the stairs have little poles. It's like sort of like sectioned off, I guess. So this way, if you need to use a handle, a railing or whatever to help you up the stairs and down the stairs, okay. First they're running up together, and then he kind of stops, takes a quick step back, and then like goes onto the other side of the divider and runs up. So we get this whole thing only to stop at the top of the stairs, and Batman goes, "Let's go in the back way." Oh my God, it was so cute. And because of that, they go in the back way by doing a back climb, which gets us a window cameo.
Like, look, Scoob, it's Batman and Robin. There must be a mystery to be solved. That's a clue. What's that, Scoob? You smell Scooby snacks and Batman's utility belt? Sometimes you just need a sniff. Thanks, Cape Crusaders.
Makes perfect sense, because as kids, who did we watch Batman and Robin teaming up with?
Why, Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo, yeah. And they're greeted by a kid dressed as Shaggy and a kid in a Scooby-Doo costume as Scooby sniffs out a Scooby snack in Batman's utility belt. And I love it. There's Batman goes, sometimes everybody needs a snack. He's explaining why he's got Scooby snacks in his utility belt. I just adorable, absolutely adorable. Although again, here's Robin. Preston's making the effort to look like he's climbing, and there's Robin in the background, just sort of like, barely hand over hands as he's walking alongside him.
Well, I mean, I think they both were doing this. It's just these tiny little shuffling feet, and I'm like, oh my God.
I know. It was adorable, though. It's that's the thing too. You gotta like you said, okay, the acting not so great, but when you look at the situations they're in, you know what? You can give the acting a pass, because the situations that these kids are doing, and again, that would be something I would ask if I ever had a chance to bring that kid on and talk. It's like, looking at it now, what do you think as an adult? Like what worked for you, and what do you see? And you're like going, wow, if I thought about it, I would have done it more like this, or I know it sounds crazy, but it's like,
yeah, these 23-year-olds now.
Yeah.
And going, we don't know what the hell we were doing. Mom and Dad gave us, we'll take you out to McDonald's afterwards if you do this.
Right. Oh man. So they get into Gordon's office, and Gordon shows them the footage of the 4 villains escaping thanks to Penguin's gas gun umbrella, and Riddler then grabbing the cell keys from the knocked out guard. And I thought this interesting. I'm like, wait a minute, they're in a cell, all 4 of them?
Yeah, co-ed.
That's even more co-ed than Catwoman and Ma Parker in the prison there with the rest of the men.
Yeah. Well, they at least had their own separate cells.
Right, exactly. And then O'Hara comes and tells about the news of a robbery at a jewelry store 1 mile outside Gotham City, which I also thought was interesting. I'm like, oh, it's not in Gotham City, it's outside it.
Yeah. Now, was it O'Hara or was it a floating police cap?
I know, just bobbling there, and you just heard a voice.
Just see that and some shoes underneath it.
Yep. But then now this, all right, and this is the one thing, and this is not any of the kids' fault. This is a continuity error, or I don't know what it was. It's weird because they've got the footage of their escape. Then we get the news of the jewelry robbery. Then we cut back to the 4 of them. They're still at the prison.
So what are we supposed to do now, you cagey bird? Yes, it won't be long until Batman and Robin come looking for us. Hopefully not long at all. Whoa. Gather around, my fiends. Gather around. Riddler, are you ready? Yes, indeed. I have a special delivery for the dynamic duo. And it will deliver them straight to us. You want to be Batman and Robin straight to us? Have you gone mad? Perhaps this bird doesn't have much of a brain. Bite your tongue, Catwoman. We'll be throwing the dastardly duo a bon voyage party permanently. Oh, I love it. I'm so sorry for ever down you. Put it there. Ow, what's wrong with you?
Okay,
They're
I did
still
not
outside.
catch that.
They're still outside the cell. The guard is knocked out in the corner there. They pulled him over to the corner or whatever during in the time being. And this is when they're all making their plans that Penguin wants to lure the two into a trap, and he's going to have what's his name, Riddler, use a riddle to do it and such. And that's when we really see the close up of Joker. And that's why I think I said this to you before the show. They went hard on the Joker makeup. That thing was better than anything Cesar Romero ever had. The hair, yes, I give you. They didn't get the hair right for him, but that makeup was spot on. The only thing that kid could have used was maybe if they put a fake mustache on him.
Yeah, or used slightly grayed, underneath there too. I did not catch that, but yeah, that would have just been an scene in order mistake, because
Right.
that should have been there before the I guess the announcement of the jewelry robbery.
Exactly. And this is the scene where I was talking about before. This was one example. This was the scene with the Joker and Penguin and the buzzer and their pleasure. And they're just like, we did it. Let's go. It was just adorable.
Would have loved to have seen the slate, though. It says take 50.
Mm-hmm. Yes. The Batmobile pulls up to the jewelry store, and I had to laugh because, Batman gets out real quick and he's running right to the door. There's Robin struggling to get out on his side, not as energetic as Burt Ward there, and then just running to catch up with him. It was so cute.
Do you think that the footage up till when they parked, do you think that may have been sped up or not?
I'd say it was probably sped up a bit. Yeah, I can't imagine they were going that fast.
Oh, yeah, because, that kid was actually a pretty decent driver if he was going that fast.
Well, here's the question, though. What was propelling them? Was it just the car was on some sort of thin strings, line and such? Although it couldn't have been from the Batcave, because the way it was weaving.
It had an engine in it, so.
Okay, so it did have an engine.
Oh, yeah. It was either a small gas-powered engine or it was battery-powered.
Right. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
so that makes the car even better.
I don't know if I said it, but at the beginning, but this had about a $25,000 budget, so I can see where some of the budget went into, or a good bit of the budget to trick out and build a mini Batmobile.
Oh yeah. I now that was something that I saw online was that, it's we had to get this specially made here and the chassis was made here and that sort of thing. So, yeah.
There's question 3. Does it still exist?
Oh, you wouldn't have that someplace proudly on display.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they get to the jewelry store. They find out that only one item was stolen, the Siamese diamond, which it's never referred to again as the Siamese. They referred to it afterwards as the cat's eye.
Right.
Yeah.
Now were these middle-aged ladies handling, because they were probably young teenagers.
Yes. Yeah, they were probably, 9, 10 years old, 11, pushing 12, 13.
Considering how much taller they are than
Yes. Yeah, but I would definitely say 7th, 8th grade.
Yeah.
The two ladies behind the counter talking to Batman and Robin about the Siamese diamond, and the only thing left behind was a Joker card, which I thought was funny when they said the Joker card. I'm thinking the Joker from a deck of cards. It's actually like some sort of trading card that was with the Joker on it.
Oh boy.
Yeah. But they also leave behind a bomb, and not just any bomb, but a round black bomb that would look very familiar to any fan of the 66 movie.
I have no idea what you're talking about, John. None whatsoever.
Oh no, Batman, a bomb!
This leads to the cutest bit in the entire movie, I think, as basically Batman scoops up the bomb and runs, and he's running through Ardsley trying to ditch the bomb, stopping at different points just like Adam did, and he even gets out the line.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
But hey, that would make a great podcast.
But he does get rid of it because he eventually tosses it into a trash can and runs off as there's an explosion and the thing shakes a little there. And just adorable, absolutely adorable, the whole thing. And you want to know something too? I know this is going to sound sacrilegious with fans. It doesn't run as long as Adam's, and that's the only problem I ever had with that scene with Adam. It went on too long. I think it could have been cut the line is what saves it. It's like, it's a good thing you have a line like that, because you went way too long and you kind of repeated the jokes when he kept going back and, oh, there's the ducks again. And, oh, there's the nuns again. And, oh, look, there's the lady with the carrots. Yeah, the pram, this one, it's like, no, we do it a couple of times and then we say the line and we ditch it. And it's like, boom, we're good.
Although, as an aside, the only thing I really liked in the one from the movie was the ducks, because by that time it's like, you're not going to sacrifice those ducks.
Well, actually, he didn't sacrifice the porpoise. The porpoise sacrificed himself.
Right. But it's like
porpoise.
Oh. Ouch. But yes, that was a good bit, and that it was the perfect amount of time.
Yes. Absolutely. It was. So he heads back to the Batmobile where Robin is waiting, and they find a riddle inside on the seat asking the question, when is a car like a bench? And who's listening nearby, hiding behind a tree, but Batgirl?
Yes. Complete with Batgirl cycle.
Complete with Batgirl cycle. Exactly. Yep. I thought this interesting, though. She hears it. And she goes, I've got it. And she goes off. They look at each other and go, we need to go back to the Batcave and work on the Bat computer to figure this one out.
The feeder on the Bat computer. When is a car like a bench at the pump? That's it, Robin. They're at Gotham City Park.
Once again, sacrificing their intelligence, just like the third season.
Yeah, but she didn't get any hints from young Alfred.
No, she didn't. No. She does. We don't get a scene with young Alfred and Batgirl. No, we don't. But we do get then, because you know what? You went to all that trouble to build that set. Damn it. We're going back and we're going to use the Bat computer and we're going to figure this out. And of course, and again, like I said, when Robin hands him the punch card and he's flipping, okay. But the answer is, when is a car like a bench? When it's a park. It took me a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cars park and there are benches in a park. So yeah. Well, hey, it was better than some of the riddles they gave Riddler towards the end of the first season.
But not nearly as charming as the ones from the third.
Oh my God. Yeah, exactly. Where he just gave lists. Like, what do these all have in common? Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, sorry, that was my thing for Costco.
Yeah. Oh man. So the two head out to Gotham Park, where we see Penguin and the other three, along with Penguin's goons. So they got more kids now dressed up in black outfits. Oh, that was adorable. And here we go. Here's some more of that $25,000. He has a missile that he's going to fire at the United World. I think he did refer to it as United World, not the United Nations, right?
Right.
And the missile is in the shape of Penguin, it's in the shape of a missile, but it is decked out like Penguin.
Oh, it's got a monocle.
Yes. And I've got to say, I love this bit because this is so Batman, and in particular Batman 66. He's going to fire the missile during a fireworks display, so the missile will not be considered a threat. It'll be just, oh, look, there's another firework going off in the sky, and it'll be too late to stop it when it hits the United World building. I mean, that's a really good bit of plotting.
Oh, it is. No, that's worthy of the show.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. I was like, okay, this is really cool. And of course, Batman and Robin arrive, and we get, what we always look for in these, the bat fight.
What was that? Hurry along, move, Batman. It's Batman and Robin. Get them! Look, Robin, beyond the bat shield.
This is getting towards the end of the dream. Am I not mistaken?
You are correct.
Okay. Because it's like, at this point, things get a little fuzzy for me because it's like, okay, we don't go into a death trap or something, I don't think.
Of sorts.
Okay.
Of sorts. They fight, and I gotta say, it's interesting. They manage with the sound mix to keep enough of the sound, but it's underlying. The music still is louder, but you can still hear the sounds almost like kids at play.
Now, Batman, you would hit a girl. That would not be something a respectable man would do. You're a very, very respectable man. Batman!
It's like when you and I were kids and we would do something like that, with a group of kids and stuff. And it's like, I'm Batman and you be Robin. No, I'll be Batman and you be Robin, or something like that. And then it's like the others agree who they are. And next thing you know, and we're all running around and it was kind of like that. And then they would do every once in a while little close-ups and give Preston his moment to really shine as Adam West Batman, as, he ducks under a swing and then gives him an uppercut and stuff, and proper sound effects, keyed into the screen, not title cards.
Right. Right.
Loved it. I loved it. To the point where during the fight, Batman is distracted by Catwoman, and so he gets whacked from behind by Penguin, and Robin gets grabbed by a bunch of the goons and stuff and held, and Batman is brought to the missile and tied to it, and they're going to launch the missile with Batman.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah. And this is where you really see things in terms of working with kids, and maybe, hey, you need to pick the pace up, just because like every single joke they made, they let them pause long enough to take their bow almost with every single joke, including one that Joker did that I can't remember now what it was. But like they really lingered on him for a while after he told the joke. But it is enough of a time for Batman to cut the ropes and get free.
Oh, he had time to go through KFC by that point.
And I gotta say, when he does, and he runs over, and Robin gets away from the goons, and he runs over, then he does, the the cowl. Not the cowl, the cape. He spreads out his arms with the cape, and we do it from a couple of angles. He manages to shoot from the back, from the front, from the side, and I'm like, this is cool. This is really cool. All right, it's all about to go down. We got the two of them, and oh my gosh, you're outnumbered though, Batman and Robin. Look at all these, and then who comes sauntering in? But there's Batgirl, and I thought to myself, gee, for someone who figured this out faster than Batman and Robin, took you long enough.
Well, she wasn't going to jump into the fray by herself, So, but yeah, 3 against 7, odds in our favor. Yeah, exactly. And it all looks like it's about to come down to a big fight, and that's where, like as you said, Robert, the story ends because Mom is waking Preston up from his dream. Dang it, Mom!
Yeah, I had to wonder though. I'm like, Mom, how do you not know who Alfred is, or do you just not pay attention to your kid's obsession? Because he's like, Alfred, what are you doing waking me up? She's like, Alfred? Who's Alfred? I'm like, Mom, get with the program. Well,
at the same time, the kid's mistaking his mother for a guy. So,
well, yeah, he's clearly not.
No.
But now he's back in his real world. He's who he is again. He's not saving the day as Batman and such, and it leaves him feeling down as he's has to get ready and go through his life again, basically after this all too real dream. I mean, it was right down to a Desmond Doomsday narration that he's got going and stuff in music.
That's true. And yeah, I mean, he's back to his regular life. I think it made him hit the bottle myself.
Yeah. Well, it might have, except for one thing. He's standing out waiting for the bus. His mom had to run in and get his lunch. And what happens?
Robin, it seems that the automatic bat navigation system is malfunctioning and I'm severely off course. I want you to check the bat computer and give me the directions to the Joker's hideout. I'll be standing by. Batman out. Some days you just need a map. Oh. Hello?
Wow, I can't believe you're right here in front of me. Mommy won't believe me. She doesn't think you're real.
Well, I guess the important thing is to believe in yourself. And try to be a good person.
Will I grow up and be a crime fighter and wear a costume just like you?
You don't need a costume or even a Batmobile to make a difference. There's all kinds of good citizens out there who make this world a better place every day. It's about being good to others and having the courage to do the right thing because it's simply the right thing to do. That's what makes real heroes, choosing the right path. Always remember that.
I will remember.
That must be Robin. Now remember, I'm counting on you, so keep learning, keep growing, and keep your life on the right path.
I was more fixated because, I will say this in a moment, who Batman was. Right. I was waiting and a little disappointed that he didn't make much of an effort to impersonate Adam. He did the inflection, but he didn't do the voice. And this man can do Adam.
Oh yeah, he can do the Adam. Yeah. No, he's stopped in front of the house because the directional finder is on the blink.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. So he gets out of the car, comes around to Preston, and when he says hello, that sounded like Adam. And there's moments where Adam's voice kind of drifts in, but it's more like just the way Adam, the like I say, the inflections Adam has. And the gentleman, by the way, Scott Sebring.
Yep, a very good Batman.
Very good Batman, an excellent Batman. In fact, he was on the show before, and he did his Adam West, and I was like floored by how well he does it. So that's why I was a little like, I'm like, oh, come on, Scott, do Adam, come on.
I think what it was is he didn't put in the baritone.
Yes, no, that's it. He didn't put in the baritone. But he had all the inflections. I mean, you could definitely see, he was definitely the Adam. I mean, not just in the costume, but in the tonality of it all, he was the Adam West Batman.
Oh, absolutely.
As he delivers his message to young Preston, stay on the right path. God, it was so adorable. And it really brightened the kid up who realized, I love Batman. Batman's cool, but I don't need to be Batman to be a good person, to be the hero. That was my takeaway anyway.
No, I mean, it's an excellent message, and it would have been a message that the show would have done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
As a matter of fact, they did do that on the Shame episode.
Yes, that's true. You're right. I'm going to turn in my cowboy outfit and get me, what was it? Was it the police uniform or a Batman costume, though?
I think it was a Batman costume.
It was a Batman costume, yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to be a hero to be a good citizen.
Yes. It's just such a nice little touching scene at the end as he comes down, he gets down in front of Preston and talks to him and stuff, and then once he said his piece, he gets back in the Batmobile, drives off as Preston's waving, and Mom comes out and she's like, "Who are you waving to?" "Oh, friend." Preston's learned his lesson. Don't bother Mom with the Batman. She don't care. She don't get it.
Alfred, who's Alfred?
Who's Alfred? Oh, Mom, silly goose.
So yeah, at 26 minutes, it does tell a decent dreamlike story.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It does. And it tells it in a way that is respectful of Batman 66, that kind of plays into, like I said, if you watch it and you really think about it, we all kind of fantasized about having that sort of thing as kids. Got to wonder, after all was said and done, you've had the Batmobile, did the kids ever go out and play, maybe not in full costume, because it's like, oh, no. We don't want to mess the costumes up. But, at least, hey, we're going to take the Batmobile out. We're going to, what happened to the set? Where did they get that Bat computer? Because it's a pretty good replica of, not an exact, but a pretty good replica of some of the equipment in the 66 series.
Oh, yeah. Well, you'd be surprised at what, some thin plywood and a good coat of paint and some lights will do.
Right.
I mean, the atomic pile wasn't 3D.
No, that wasn't 3D. No. But still, it worked.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, you put the lights on it and mm-hmm. No, I mean, beautiful little production. It's not something I think I can watch over and over again.
Not over and over again, but every once in a while to come back and revisit. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's got charm. It's something that I think little kids could probably dig. Mm-hmm. They probably put themselves in there and going, I wish I had rich parents.
Yeah.
Just out of college now. And he's like, yeah, I try not to think about that. I never show my girlfriend.
Yeah. I try not to think about that, as Mom and Dad told me they couldn't afford college, so I had to work through it.
What do you spend the money on?
See that Batmobile right there?
What?
And again, like the opening, I like the closing music as it all ends and the credits are going and stuff. I mean, usually in these productions, the music is just so way off. It doesn't seem to fit either Batman or the mood you're trying to strike with whatever the movie is. It's just, you found some sort of stock music. I don't know if this was stock music. There was a music credit at the beginning, additional music by, and I can't remember what the name of it was now. I forgot to write it down. But the music at the beginning and the end works with the overall theme of this film.
Yeah, I guess from what I remember, it does sound a bit like library music.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it very well could be, but you try, if you're going to do it, don't just try to do something just to get it done. Try and find something that fits your theme, your genre, whatever you're doing. That to me, because it throws you out every time. There's, I can't think of, the Filipino Batman movies. No. World of Batwoman. No. Maybe Mexican. See, I'm very fond of Mexican Batwoman. I'm just very fond of that movie.
Well, for good reason.
And for good. Well, I mean, besides the obvious reasons, but
no, it was a beautiful low budget production. I mean, you can't fault the photography, the cinematography in it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So you're saying that the music was better than maybe Power Records?
Yes, Power Records and their Batman music, yeah, or their non-Batman music. They just basically had the same uniform theme, didn't they?
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this.
Yes.
I mean, I can't imagine you, but go ahead. Let's do it. Nora Clavicle or this? Which do you watch first? The next time you're in the mood.
Oh, definitely this.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
This has got charm.
This has charm. It has charm. It's got better production value. I mean, come on. This has better production values than Nora Clavicle with its high school musical cityscape backdrop as the mice are moving about.
Oh,
come on.
John, I try never to think of that episode. I honestly never try to think of that episode.
Yeah, but
just one of those things. It's like, I mean, it makes Marcia Queen of Diamonds look like, the Hitchcock movie.
Yeah, exactly.
For Pete's sakes.
Oh yeah.
But no, I mean, definitely. I put that definitely higher than Nora Clavicle. My favorite Bat gadget would be the Batmobile.
Yes. Yep, definitely the Batmobile. My God, that thing was just so. That's commitment. You think about that, Robert. Like how there were times in some of these other Batman movies, we were like, you couldn't even bother to get a decent looking, like just even slap a few decals on the side, Batmobile. And they go and trick out a kid's car with engine.
Yep.
You know?
That shot smoke out of the afterburner.
That shot smoke out of the afterburners that had a dashboard that actually lit up and had switches and stuff you could throw. Oh my God.
Yeah. No, like I said, I would have said, I can play Robin. Now, what would have been cool is if at that end scene, if it wasn't the full Batmobile, but if it was Scott in the little Batmobile trying to make it up that hill.
Yeah.
Holy shrinkage.
Oh man. No, just overall, just a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I'm glad we got this one in.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think you were worried that I was going to be a little bit harder on it than I was.
Well, like I said, when you talked about it at the beginning, because all of a sudden, because if you go to IMDb, they trash it, and I'm like, what are you doing? These are kids. This is all a lot of wish fulfillment, and not only just on the kids' side, but on Joe Valenti. This is what he wanted when he was a kid. You can see it all, and he's doing it. He's living vicariously through his kid in this film. And there's nothing wrong with that if the kid is okay with it. And clearly Preston was.
Oh, yeah.
He was into it. So what is wrong? Why are you trashing these kids? There was just some mean-spirited comments.
Well, a lot of mean-spirited citizens out there, old chum.
That's true. You're right.
But no, I mean, I give them a pass because they clearly weren't, professionals.
Right.
And, I mean, they did the best they could. And with editing and that, it's like it's certainly passable.
Right.
And it does have some good stuff to it.
Yes. Yes, it does. It does. And folks, you can check that out. It's on YouTube very easily, found the Adventures of Little Batman. Don't get it confused because there is another Little Batman movie out there, the documentary about the kid with cancer.
I'm not aware of it. I'll have to check that out.
He's a Batman fan, but it's a documentary about how, this city, town got together and created Batman Day and did a whole thing honoring him and stuff and his battle with, and it's a touching film. But, when you if you just put in Little Batman movie, that's what mostly comes up. So you got to put in the Adventures of Little Batman.
I think I know what you're talking about. Wasn't that a Make-A-Wish type of thing?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually got to go in and beat up thugs and stuff at a bank.
Yes.
It was a whole to-do.
Yes, it was. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Another, and very touching, I'm not trying to, but if you're looking specifically for what we're talking about, you're better off just to be clear. So this way, because Google is not exactly the most discerning search engine. It's
no, not with some of the stuff I've come up with.
I know. Tell me about it. I like to do, vocabulary reviews with my students, and even just the word flexible, and I'm looking for pictures to go along with it, and it's like, whoa, hang on, let's try a different version of the word.
You're supposed to have those filters on, John.
Yeah, that's true. All right, well, that's going to do it then for this episode of the Batcave podcast. Before we wrap things up there, Robert, I know you've been, a little sidetracked in recent months, but I also see that you are getting some work done in your area of filmdom. What's happening there? Oh,
well, other than actually starting to repost stuff again on my Facebook page, was that 1966-68 television Batman.
Yes.
I've gotten some, I think I got a rather rare photo of Adam up jumping.
Yes.
Recently. So yeah, I am active on that again. I'm just working really hard on trying to get a friend's, who unfortunately passed away. I'm trying to get one of his films out on Blu-ray.
Nice.
Not superhero related. Sorry. It's a horror film. I do horror films.
Well, you have your own horror character in the along the lines of Svengoolie and all that. I've seen you do the makeup, and I've seen the pictures on your page too, and it's really cool.
Oh, thanks. Yes, Madman Magestro.
Yes.
Yeah, I can never do a convention because that voice would crap out within about 5 minutes.
Well, we'll what's the name of this movie that you're trying to get out?
Oh, it's a whodunit thriller called Dead Hunt that came out in 2006. We were talking about cancer. My friend died of cancer back then, and it just never got a really proper release. So I'm talking to some people trying to get it upgraded for Blu-ray with tons of extras, and just get it out there to keep his legacy alive.
Right.
So
well, when you get closer to that release and stuff, you have it all together, let us know here. We'll promote it on the Batcave page for you as well.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Absolutely. We try to promote, Joe Stuber. We promote Comic Book Central and Jim Beard. Even when it's non-Batman related, we'll let people know, hey, Jim's got a new book out. So
yes, well, I've been enjoying everything that you and Jim have been doing with. Oh, what do they call those?
the movie serials.
Serials, yes. Yep. Have you finished that out, by the way?
We by the time this airs, the final episode will have been released. Yes, we've recorded that last one already, Jim and I. I'm actually in the midst of working on it now. So
okay, because I will be very interested to hear of your revelations of who did what.
Let's put it this way: it's not like the movie serial. This isn't going to end well. It gets ugly.
I can't wait to check this out now. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. You can go back and check them out, the 43 and 49 movie serials, wrapping up our look at Filmation 77 Batman, wrapping up our look at Electrowoman and Dynagirl, and coming to the conclusion of our look at Monster Squad as well, produced by Stanley Ralph Ross, including with our look at not the Catwoman episode, the Julie Newmar episode. Julie was on an episode of Monster Squad.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, he was kind of busy back then. Wasn't he also a producer on Wonder Woman?
He wrote the pilot movie, but he didn't have anything else to do with the series moving forward, I don't think.
Oh, he did the Kathy Lee Crosby?
No. He did the first original Wonder Woman with Linda Carter, the new original Wonder Woman with Linda Carter, red buttons, and you can clearly see Ralph's stamp. There are things on there that are clearly his sense of humor,
right?
Worked in there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If anybody's ever interested in that, I toyed with the idea of doing a review of that since Stanley Ralph Ross wrote it. But if you go to the Satin Tights podcast.
Oh, hey, I didn't tell you, John. A couple of celebrities wished me a happy birthday the other day.
Oh, are they celebrities you recently got to meet in person?
One of them is.
Okay.
Yes. That would be Linda Gay Scott.
She's a sweetheart.
Yes, she is.
She is an absolute sweetheart. I had a feeling you were going to say Linda Gay Scott.
The other one was Caroline Ellis from the Bugaloos.
Ooh, well, interesting.
Yeah. Talk about your childhood crushes. Yeah, I hope someday you can maybe get Linda on or something.
That would be cool. Yeah,
because she was also on Green Hornet, so there's that too. So
definitely, yeah. Well, folks, like I said, that's going to do it for this episode. Stay tuned. We've got a bunch of new things coming along the way, and stay tuned for the announcement about the holiday. I won't say themed, but holiday centered episodes of Batcave we're going to be doing here. And I'll be announcing that in the next couple of weeks. Until then, Robert, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
And folks, you have yourselves a great week. I'll see you next week. Until then, citizens, take care.